A marketing agency will not save your business. Each function is currently broken in your business, right? It's always broken. Each function can always improve. Marketing is not just marketing. Marketing is one function of your business. If you're not prepared for that lead flow, you're just going to waste all your money like I did the first time around. You're going to spend a ton of money in ad spend and have no return on investment. Marketing is either going to grow your business or it's going to blow up your business. Welcome back to the Wellness Business Secrets podcast. My name is Josh, and I am going to be your host today. And on this podcast, I'm super pumped to talk about the topic of how do you know what is the right marketing agency for your wellness business? Which one do you choose? How do you choose one that can help you not just get leads, but get people through the door and increasing the revenue of your business? Because ultimately, when we hire a marketing agency, that is what we want to do. We want to see new revenue being driven. We want to see new people walking through the door. And let's be real, we want to see the thing blow up. That is the goal, right? We want to see the business actually boom. And this is a tough topic. And I'm going to be completely real. I'm a little bit biased because I am also the CEO of a company called PatientStream. It's a digital marketing consulting and agency that we work with hundreds of wellness businesses, specifically people in the med spa space. So we help advertise things such as medical weight loss, body sculpting, aesthetics, and we help them blow up their businesses. But ultimately, what I really want to do is kind of put that bias aside and show you what I see works, what doesn't work, and how do you know if it's even the right time for you to invest in paid advertising? So in this podcast, we're going to dive deep on that topic. I'm going to make sure that you walk away from this knowing exactly, should you even run paid ads? And what should you be looking for in a marketing agency? So hang tight, grab your notes, and let's go. So I have to rewind a little bit before we even get into the topic. About a decade ago, I actually started as a wellness business owner. I was living a pretty wild life. I was a personal trainer at the time, partying like crazy. Ended up finding out that I was having my first child, my first daughter on the way. And I'm sure you can expect it was a surprise. At the time, I'm making decent money as a personal trainer. Still kind of walking through college, trying to figure out what am I going to do with my life, right? I'm only 22 at the time, and just not in a really great state of future thinking. It was a wake up call though. And if you've been in that experience before where you didn't grow up around business, you didn't grow up in this lifestyle where people talked about money, they talked about success, they talked about, how to just be even just a good person, then you can imagine when you get that type of wake up call, when you realize that your life is about to change forever, it can either make you or it can break you. And for me, I was very blessed to be in a position where it made me have a change of mindset. It was a complete 180. I realized that something drastically had to change. And for me, that meant cutting out everything. It was like the partying has to stop, the drugs have to stop, the sleeping around has to stop. Like all of those things have to stop. And I have to do something that's going to put my life in a direction where I'm not just going to be able to provide for my family, right? Provide for my daughters, but be in a position to where I can create long-term success and actually create the life that I dreamed of. I always dreamed of a life of not necessarily working for someone else, but building something that I can own. And I didn't really know what that meant at the time because, again, I didn't have a family of business owners. I didn't have a mentor or anything like that speaking life in me at that time. But I just knew there was something different, that the lifestyle that I wanted, the things that I wanted, the impact I wanted to make, it was definitely something different, but I knew that my current lifestyle was not matching up to what that could be. And so my 180 decision was to think, I personal trainers, I see them go and open up gyms all the time. I'm going to go and do that. And so I decided that I'm going to open up my first gym. And now I'm making this decision at the time of being broke. Yes, I was making decent money as a personal trainer, but decent money as a personal trainer is like, hey, I'm paying my bills, right? That's it. And so, I didn't have any capital, didn't have any cash in the bank. There was no way a bank was going to loan me money, student debt, dumb car payment, all that stuff there. And, I didn't really know even what it looked like to open up a business at all. But I just knew that that's what I was going to go and do. And so I decided to step forward. I was very lucky at the time that one of my clients, shout out to Holland, she was actually a successful functional medicine doctor. And so she owned a functional medicine clinic. And, I was very blessed that once I told her that vision, She invited me over to the clinic and just showed me how things were working. She showed me what she built. She showed me, the personal development that I need to start looking into, the books that I need to start reading, how I need to start changing these habits. And so that led to a long journey of a year of personal growth, research, developing, going to my first business conference ever, and really figuring out, okay, cool, this is how I can make it happen without having capital. From there, I actually went and bootstrapped it, started in a park illegally, got kicked out multiple times, but it was all that I could do. I think I want to say we had about 15 to 20 clients sign up for I think it was a 28-day fat burning boot camp. Through that promotion, no idea what I was doing. I literally, in the park, there was a neighborhood next to it. And so illegally, right, you can tell how things were really bootstrapped. I remember getting these flyers and putting it in every single mailbox in that neighborhood one night. And so it's late in the night, we're just driving out, putting in flyers in mailboxes. And out of that, we were able to get 15 to 20 people that signed up for this 28-day in the park boot camp. I went, got a credit card. I think I only got approved for like $900 and went to Academy, got as many dumbbells, mats, kettlebells as I could, slam balls, and just got whatever I could for $900. And that's where we started. I was very fortunate to be able to kind of just really be in a hustle mindset. We used that to eventually get into a 5,000 square foot location, had the first brick and mortar location open up. And it was tough. It was really hard, but I was really excited to finally actually own a real business. I remember sitting in that location after we had opened the doors, put all the mats in, got the equipment, all those things there. I just remember sitting there and then thinking, oh my God, how I'm going to pay for all of this. Now I have a loan on equipment. I have a rent for a 5,000 square foot location. I have no staff. It's just me. Actually, I have one part-time trainer that decided that they wanted to come and help me out and work with me. And I have the 15 people from the boot camp that stayed. But I knew that the revenue from that, because those 15 people, for me to get into the location, I had them paying full for a year membership. And that's what paid to be able to, get into the location, pay for the first month, get some of the equipment, things like that. And I remember just sitting there like, I have no clue how I'm paying rent in the next 30 days. No idea. And that was my first interaction with starting to realize I need to learn how to market. At the time, I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't really even know what paid ads meant or anything like that. I just thought you open up a business and people show up. And that is not what happens. So if you're thinking that, then, that's your first lesson here. Write that down. If you open it, it does not mean that they're going to show. Sometimes it does happen if we're lucky, but most of the time it is not going to happen, or it's not going to happen consistently enough to really get you ahead to be able to grow the business. This is where I first started having my first interaction with marketing, not even knowing that marketing agencies exist at the time. So, I'm Googling stuff, I'm looking things up, and I stumble across a course on how to run Facebook ads. And so, I buy that course, and it was like $1,000 or $997, right? It's always $997 for the course. And so I bought that course, and, it was really step by step. Hey, here's how you launch Facebook ads. And so it was scary though, right? Because I spent the $997 on the course, and then now I have to pay for Facebook ads, right? Mark Zuckerberg needs to get his check. So I had to actually start investing in some ads. And from the course and from, what I was seeing in the community there and everyone blowing up their businesses, I was truly under the mindset that as soon as I hit go, run the ad and get it published, that my business was going to blow up. I was going to have leads. I was going to have people walking the door, signing up. And so I hit go, published that ad, and leads came in, right? I would get the notification, new lead, new lead, new lead. I think actually in the first 2 weeks, we had maybe like 100 leads or something like that. This is 2017. So, this is the good days of Facebook. And I was pumped. I was like, this is it. We've made it, right? I'm going to make so much money. I'm going to be able to hire a staff. I'm going to be able to really blow this business up. And nothing happened. I think maybe I had 2 people come in to try out a workout, and then they left, never signed up. And so I was devastated. I had no idea how I'm going to make this work. And I remember at that time I had to make a decision of, do I pay my gym rent or do I pay my apartment rent? And I got evicted from my apartment, because that was the only way that I could keep the business going for another month. And so I decided to, I got evicted from my apartment, had to move back in with the parents and drive an hour back and forth to the gym. Started just sleeping in the gym at that point. And, I have, a little kid. It was a really hard moment because my first instinct was to think that paid social media ads did not work, right? All these leads suck. They're not qualified. They don't come into the location. Like, I'm not going to spend any money there. But as I was scrolling Facebook, I stumbled across an ad from a guy named Alex Hermosi. You might have heard the name. It was when he first started his business called Gym Launch that he went on to sell for about $46 million. Something in my gut told me, hey, this guy knows what he's doing, because he's talking about a lot more than just running a Facebook ad. He's talking about what you sell, how you sell them, how you nurture your leads. I didn't even know you were supposed to do that, right? Those leads I got from Facebook, I never even called. And he was talking about stuff that made sense. And so I decided to take a leap of faith. And I remember actually being on the phone with him and his wife and talking about everything and wanting to get started. And I had no money. And I had rent coming up again. Hopefully he doesn't mind me saying this now, he sold the company, but he let me start for free. He was that confident where he's like, here, you know what? You start for free, pay me after you start making money. And so I was like, okay, cool. I got nothing to lose. All right. Worst case is if I can't pay him, I can't pay him, but at least now I can get help. And I signed up for the program and became one of his first 10 clients. And this is where I really learned a lot about how true marketing works. I learned that marketing is not just marketing. Marketing is one function of your business. And even within marketing, there's different functions within marketing, right? There's how you get the lead. There's how you nurture that lead to get them in the door. Then you have your sales function of what do you do when they actually walk in the door, right? What do you sell them? How do you sell them? And so those were things that I was able to learn and take that piece and then now go back and we ran Facebook ads and it was a completely different story. In 3 weeks, we signed up 114 people on a $500 ticket option. It was life changing at the moment, right? Before I just got 100 leads and thought, oh my God, we're going to make it. Now we had 114 new people signed up for the gym that I thought I was going to have to shut down in the next 30 days. And it was a game changer. And I learned a ton from that experience. And so where I tell you that story is because I want you to understand is like, I get it, right? I've been there. Whether you're brand new and you're struggling with cash flow, whether, you're not brand new, you have staff, you have everything, but you may still be struggling with cash flow, or you may just be realizing like, hey, we're not bringing in enough new people and we need to fix this. And so whether you're in one of those two situations, like I understand the game of what it looks like to be a wellness business owner, to have an expensive lease, to have to worry about having to do everything yourself, right? Taking care of your clients, cleaning the location, having to figure out how do you start hiring staff, right? It all starts to pile up. And it becomes really easy for us to just assume that my ticket out of here is that I just need to hire the right marketing agency. And unfortunately, that is not the case. And as I mentioned, I own a marketing agency. Just on medical weight loss alone, I think we've spent over $4 million in advertisements in the last, less than 12 months and generated over $60 million in new sales for our clients. And I will tell you right now, a marketing agency will not save your business. And it's really important to know that. And so I want to break down exactly the first question of, do you even hire a marketing agency? Does it make sense to do that? Do you even start running paid ads, right? That's the first question that we need to be able to answer before we even decide what type of marketing agency should we hire. And so to break down that first question, the biggest thing that I look at there is this principle that I now have and what we tell our clients is that marketing is either going to grow your business or it's going to blow up your business. What I mean by that is that if you have a massive amount of lead flow come in and you're not prepared for it, right? If you have clients walking through the door and you're not prepared with a great sales process, if you're not prepared for that lead flow, then what's either going to happen is that you're just going to waste all your money like I did the first time around. You're going to spend a ton of money in ad spend and have no return on investment and be in a worse spot than when you started, right? And hopefully not as worse of a position I was in where I had to get evicted. The second case that can happen is you don't have your fulfillment dialed in. You're not ready to scale. You sign up too many people. And the next thing you know, you have that bad Google review that comes through. You have the person asking for a refund. You have an upset client, right? And then you start to just notice that it's a little bit of a nightmare. And then the third thing is you launch it, you're ready to go, you have your ducks in a row, and then you crush it and you grow, right? And then that's where you want to be. The way that I would break that down is something that Alex actually taught me when we first started was something called the 5 core functions. And so when you look at your wellness business, whether you own a med spa, whether you own a gym, whether you own a medical weight loss clinic, there are 5 core functions that make up your business. And the first 3 core functions deal with how you get new clients. The last two functions deal with how do you keep those clients and how do you make those clients worth more to your business. And so that first three we're looking at, we call it client acquisition. And those three functions break down into lead generation, right? How do you currently get lead flow? How do you get new people interested in your business? Lead nurture. When you do get that interest, when you do get someone that raises their hand, gives you their email, their phone number, whatever that may be, right? They give you their contact information so you can reach out to them. How do you nurture them and actually get them into the facility, into a consultation? And then number three is going to be sales, right? What is your actual sales process? What's your offer, right? What are you charging up front? How much cash do you collect on average when someone signs up with you? What process do you walk them through to get them to the close? Right? That's your sales process. And then on the back end there, the other two functions we look at deal with essentially lifetime value, right? What's your fulfillment look like, your retention? And then the fifth one is what we call ascension, or AKA upsells, right? How do you take that current client that is your client that is actively paying you and make them worth more to your business? And this is why I love working with med spas and wellness clinics, because we usually have a ton of different services that we can offer that fit within each other. You know, someone can come in for medical weight loss, but also purchase sculpting, right? Or facials, or Botox and fillers, right? Or any other wellness membership package that you may offer. And so there are a lot of different ways that you can make that person worth so much more to your business, aka making your business a lot more profitable. And so these things all flow together. If you don't have a clear understanding of those five core functions, I'm not saying they have to be perfect, because remember, we didn't have a full staff. We didn't have all those things dialed in, and we're still able to sign up 114 people in the first 3 weeks, right? Of really just cranking. And I'm not saying that's common, right? This is back in the heyday, 2017, right? I guess this would have been 2018 now, of, you know, running Facebook ads and you know, we're selling a group fitness program, right? So we can put a lot of more volume through. And so, but what I mean there is that, you know, you can, if you just have an understanding of those functions and where you stand and where you need to work on, then you can confidently say, I can turn on lead flow and make this thing work. But if you have no idea, and we talk to people all the time that I turn away, that I say, hey, we're not ready to work with you yet, right? Because they're not even thinking about their business as a business. They're just thinking that a marketing agency, I'm going to pay them, and then the next 2 weeks, I'm going to have new people giving me their credit card and signing up. If that is how you think marketing works, then you are not ready to run ads. You should save your money and you should just keep doing what you're doing, right? Because you will be in a worse position after you hire that marketing agency or invest in paid advertising if that is your mindset going into it. But if you have a mindset of operating as a business owner and realizing that your business has key functions and each function is currently broken in your business, right? It's always broken. Each function can always improve. And so if you can have that mindset, you can at least realize that, okay, how I get the lead matters. What's going to be the offer? What's the promotion I'm going to advertise, right? That deals with lead generation. Then lead nurture. Just first off, just accepting that there is going to have to be nurture to your leads, right? If you think that you can outsource that component, or you think that you run an ad and people just come and give you their credit cards, and that there is no concept of having to pick up the phone, make the dials, text the leads, confirm the appointments, collect the deposits if you do deposits, right? If you're not even thinking in terms of how did that stuff work in your business, then there is no point in running marketing if you do not know how you're going to nurture those leads, right? Go back to the first time I turned on marketing. I didn't nurture my leads, right? Same target, like same demographic, same people I'm running the ads to as the second time around. But the first time around, if you don't call the leads, it doesn't work. A fun little study that I love that Harvard Business did was, they studied the speed to contact of a lead and what it equated to in sales. And so they took a company and all they did was just make sure that within 60 seconds of opting in during business hours, if a lead came in, that lead got contacted, and they 4X'd their sales. Side note, we did just release a YouTube video on how we 4X'd a med spa sales by just putting in an internal lead nurture team. And so we literally, same amount of leads, right? Same, a little bit more on the ad spend just because cost per lead went up, but like everything else was the same, right? We didn't increase lead flow. We didn't do anything drastic. We didn't change the sales process. All we did was just change the lead nurture process, and they 4X their sales right? They went from making $100,000 from a campaign to making over $400,000 in that campaign, close to $500,000. That's why it's so important to look at these functions and understand that they are a necessary requirement. There is going to be work that you have to do to continue to grow your business. Charting on paid ads or hiring a marketing agency is not going to just be the end all be all. And so if you understand that, you're one step closer to being prepared to hire a marketing agency. Then the third thing that we need to look at when hiring a marketing agency is going to be, what is your sales process? Do you know what you're going to sell on the front end? Do you know how much you need to sell it for, right? Do you know where you need to be at to be able to be profitable when it comes to paying that agency, paying for your ad spend? If you have staff that's going to be doing the closing, paying their commissions, right? Paying for the service and the cost of goods. Let's say you sell medical weight loss, right? Okay, well, how much is that going to cost you to service that package? And so you need to really think about what you're going to sell, because what pains me, and we've seen this time and time again, is that when someone can get great lead flow, maybe they have lead nurture locked down, so they actually have people showing up and they're signing people up, but they're signing them up on an offer that's not profitable enough to make the thing work. And so it feels like they're getting ahead. They're getting a lot of clients. They're signing people up. They feel like they're making momentum, but then they look up 90 days later and they wonder, wait, if I have more stress, more people come through my business, but I'm just as broke as ever, right? I have even less profit now. And so if that's happening, it's because we're signing people up on the wrong offer. We're not charging the right amount, or we're not signing them up on the right duration. Right. And that can sometimes be as simple as a tweak of going from, instead of just having someone come in and start with, hey, just pay your first month of medical weight loss, using that as an example. Cool. It's, you're going to sign up and you pay 12 weeks in full. Right. It can be a tweak in how you position your programming. Right. Instead of just giving someone just medical weight loss where they can price shop that, compare that to all online offers and things like that. Maybe you throw in some nutrition resources, right? An at-home workout guide, a grocery shopping list, right? A little bit of accountability. The body scans that you're probably letting them do anyways, right? You throw that in and now you have a transformation package that you can charge. We see people charge 3 times more than what they were charging by adding in those resources that cost them nothing and just a little bit more of time for their staff to fulfill on. And they can 3x what they charge on the front end. And so that person who can now 3x what they're charging on the front end has way more profit. They're profitable in the campaign. And now they can just dominate in their market because they can spend more on advertising to get a client than what their person down the street can. And so it's really important to be able to think about those first 3 functions of client acquisition, right? Lead generation, lead nurture, and sales. Because if you can think of your business in that box, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but at least if you know those are functions that you're going to have to care about and think about and understand, then you are ready to hire a marketing agency, or you're ready to learn how to run the ads yourself, right? It just depends on where you're at, your bandwidth, your time. For most med spas, wellness businesses that can scale, that want to get past 100K per month, hiring a marketing agency is usually probably just the easiest place to start. Right? Versus trying to figure it out on your own, just like how I did, right? I tried to figure out on my own, bombed, got some help, succeeded. And so it is the fastest path to success. And so that's how we can answer that question of, are you ready to hire a marketing agency or not? I would say, do you understand that you have the functions of client acquisition? Do you understand what type of offer you should run? Do you understand how your leadership process should look? Right? Do you have a game plan on how that's going to work, right? If you're solo, then that's you making those calls, right? Or do you have a CRM that can help with automations to kind of decrease some of that call flow, right? Make your life a little bit easier there. Do you have a way to follow up, nurture your leads, right? Email them, text them, call them, all those things there. Do you have a game plan for your sales process? What you're going to sell when they walk in the door, how you're going to sell it, what the flow will look like, right? How you're going to track these stats to make sure that you are profitable and you know which areas that you need to improve in. If you can answer yes to those questions, then you are ready to hire a marketing agency. And so now we get into the second question, right, that I promised to figure out. I was like, okay, so what do you look for in a marketing agency? So this is where my bias is going to come in. And it comes in because I'm a brick and mortar owner at heart, right? Like that's where we come from. We come from the wellness business. My partners have owned chains. They've owned gyms, right? They've sold gyms and like we've just come from the spot of understanding what that looks like. And there was nothing more frustrating than when we hired someone to come and help our business, right? Whether that be a marketing agency or consultant, and they had no idea how the business worked. Because if they have no idea how the business worked, then they're trying to take concepts from, for example, a painter's business and apply that to your med spa, right? Or they're trying to take concepts from, any other industry that might work in that industry, but might not work for your med spa. They don't understand the process of what it looks like for medical weight loss and how to sell it, right? They don't understand the process of, your avatar, right? Their pain points, their desires, right? How do you actually market to that person? They don't understand the concept of what it looks like for you. You may still be working in the ER. You may be a doctor. You may be doing this, or you may not be full-time in your business and you have staff there. And how do they work with your staff? Right? How do they work with the person that's working the front desk, the person that's doing the consults, the person that's giving the treatments? And so if they do not have an understanding of the business model that you are in, you're starting in a place where now you have to teach them everything for them to be able to actually take action that's going to generate results. And so the first thing that I would say that you need to look at is going to be, what is industry knowledge? Okay. Do they actually get your industry? Do they understand your business model and how it operates? Do they understand what success looks like in that business model? And then the second thing that I always look at is going to be, what are the results? Okay. Whether you're bootstrapped and the amount of money that you're going to spend on paid advertising can either make or break you, or you are, already crushing it and you have a ton of money, it's still your cash flow. And that's your baby. And when you start marketing, like I mentioned, it can either grow your business or blow up your business because it's getting eyeballs on you. And so you want to do it in a way that's going to grow your business. And so you don't want to necessarily take the bet on the person who's like, hey, I've never done this before, but I'll do it for cheap. Right? Or the bet on the person who's, just had a really good sales conversation with you and they got you excited about it and they sold you. Or your friend, your family member's friend or daughter or son who you think is good at social media because they're young and that they're going to be good at running ads for you, right? Those are real instances of what I have seen in this industry, right? Where we have someone where it's like, oh, that person's young, they're good at social media and, they can post on my social media so they can run my ads, right? Completely different ball games. Right? Organic social media of posting on your page and making things look pretty is way different than running a marketing campaign and following those those three core functions of client acquisition, of lead generation, lead nurture, and sales. Completely different ballgame. And so those are the mistakes that I see people make, is they choose people like that from either trying to save money or they're just choosing just the wrong person because of emotional decision. Okay, I like this person, right? This person's young, or they work my front desk and, she said she could do it, so I'm going to let her do it. Right? Those are the wrong decisions that we make. The easiest way to make the next decision is, what are the results? Show me who you have worked for. It doesn't mean you have to get references. You have to actually talk to this person. Like, they should just be able to show you, right? Show me the campaigns. Show me what stats you've seen. Show me what businesses you've worked with. How many have you worked with? How many have you had success with? How many have you not had success with? And why have you not had success with them? Right? You want to be able to see that social proof because that will tell you everything, right? If you're the first, person this person has worked with, or even just the 1 out of 10 that they're working with right now, then that's not really going to be a good bet for yourself. But if they've worked with 200 plus other people in your same industry over the last, 2 years, then probably high likely that you're going to have some success with them. Okay. So we want to look at, are they industry experts, right? Do they understand your business model? What is their track record? Who have they worked with? It doesn't mean that they have to have success with everyone they worked with, because again, as I mentioned, there's ownership on you, the business owner. There are so many times where, we've worked with a client and we've had these conversations. We thought we were bringing on the right person. And they told us all the right things. They told us that they were going to nurture their leads. They had a process in place. They had really killer salespeople. And then we flood them with leads and then they just dropped the ball. We check the stats and they, send them 100 leads and they make 10 phone calls in the last 2 weeks, right? And so it's just not going to work for that person. So you don't need them to bat 100%, but you need to just have some type of social proof to show that they know what they're doing. And if they have industry knowledge and they have worked with more than, I would say at minimum, more than 20 people in your industry, doesn't have to even be in your location, just in your industry in the same country, then you are off to a really good start of knowing that that marketing agency can potentially help you out. Now, the third thing I look at is going to be, what are their resources? Digital marketing is tough to find the right agency because there's a very low barrier into getting into this game, right? Anyone with a computer, a laptop, and mom's basement, right, can go ahead and start a digital marketing agency. And so this is where you want to see, what are their resources? How many clients do they have? How many people do they have on staff, right? What are their skill sets? Is this a legit company? Or is this a company where it's just a kid in mom's basement that just started a marketing agency? Because if they don't have the right resources to support you, then you're going to have a problem, right? Do you get an account manager that's looking at your campaigns and helping you to decipher your stats and figure out what's the next best move? Do they have multiple media buyers, right? People that are looking at your campaign every day, checking it, right? Seeing if it's in performance, and if not, optimizing it. Do they have an ops manager that's running the day-to-day show, right? Do they have a creative team, right? Do they have people that are going to be constantly able to make new ads? Because Facebook changes so much, Instagram changes so much, Google changes so much nowadays, where it's not like before where you could take the same ad and run that ad for a year straight, right? You have to constantly be developing and tweaking and making new creatives. And so if they don't have that infrastructure, right? If they don't have those resources, then how are they going to support you the way that you need them to support you? And so these are questions that, I love it when people ask these questions on calls all the time, because it's like, these are the important questions to know before you do business with someone. So we have, are they industry experts? Do they understand your business model? We have, do they have social proof, right? Like, have they worked with more than 20 people in your industry? And then number 3, how do they operate? What are their resources? Do you get an account manager? Do they actually have media buyers? Do they have management, right? Do they have a creative team? Or is it just one person that's going to be looking at your campaign as well as having to look at 50 other client campaigns? Okay. So we want to know the resources. And then the fourth and final thing that we want to know is going to be, how is the relationship structured? Because as I mentioned, let's rewind a little bit into knowing when you should start marketing. It's when you have your functions dialed in, right? You have your offer that you're going to be advertising, lead generation. You have lead nurture, the system, right? How you're going to nurture those leads, how you're going to handle the lead flow, automations, email campaigns, text, your system for internal, for how you guys are going to call these leads, what the scripts are going to be, the confirmation process, how do you collect deposits to increase your show percentage, right? All of those functions matter just with lead nurture alone. And then now we have sales process, which is going to be, what is your packaging, your offer? What are you going to sell when they walk in the door? How are you going to sell it? What are you walking through? How long do you sell it for? All of those things there. And so where you can go the next level is you can hire an agency that just only worries about the agency part of running the ads and getting you leads. But the other part where I see people are way more successful is exactly like what I had with Alex Hermosi when I first signed up, is that it wasn't just an agency, it was a consulting program, right? We got the scripts for lead nurture. We got the training. We got the how-to. We got the example sales recordings of this is how you do a consult. We got the training on this is how much you should charge to make it worth, and this is how long the program should be. All of those things are what made me successful, not just getting leads. And so when you're working with an agency, you want them to be a partner, not meaning you have to give them equity in your business, not meaning that they even have to charge you $10,000 a month or anything like that. But what I mean by that is that you want them to be a partner to where they don't just care about their job of getting you leads. They care more about the entire 5 core functions of your business, because that's what's going to maximize all of those leads that you get and turn that into profit for your business. So do they have the resources, right? Do they have the ability to coach you on what offers work best for what your business has and where you're located? Do they have the CRM to give you with all the automations that actually work for getting leads to respond? Do they have the scripts for lead nurture? Do they give your team trainings on exactly how to do it correctly, so that way you don't have to figure it out by yourself? Do they have the training on, hey, this is what you should charge based off of your business situation. This is what you can sell. This is how you can sell it. Here are the example recordings. Do they have all of that information? Not so that way you have to go back to school, but so that way you can just go have so much faster speed to results, because you now have everything in a row. Because if you have just the first 3 core functions of lead generation, lead nurture, and sales, if you have those down and you have the trainings and what you need to make them better, then now when they launch the ads, you're going to be so much more successful and you're actually going to see profit, which is what you want. And so that's the final component of what I would look at to know, is this the right agency for you? So let's review real quick, right? So how do you know if you should even run paid ads? Do you have a concept of the 5 core functions of your business? Predominantly the first 3, which deal with lead generation, lead nurture, and sales. You don't have to be perfect there. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be able to understand that they are a necessary requirement to make a paid ad campaign work. And so if you have that mindset, you're open to it, you're open to working on it, you're open to learning about it, then you are ready to run paid ads. Then now the second question we wanted to cover was going to be, how do you know what's the right marketing agency for you, right? Number 1, are they industry specific? Do they understand your business model? Number 2, do they have social proof? Have they worked with 20 or more clients that are in your industry? Number 3, what are their resources? What's team size look like? How long have you been doing this? Is this just a kid in mom's basement or is this an established business? Okay. And number 4, are they actually a partner? Do they have the resources that you need to be able to make those leads turn into cash for your business? If you can check off the box on all of those 4 things, then you are 100% ready to hire that marketing agency and get after it. Now, not going to be easy. There's work to be done, but you can 100% succeed with paid marketing if you have those things in your corner. A little bit about us, like with Patient Stream is the name of our consulting and marketing agency, is like, those are the 4 things that we stand by. Those are the 4 things that we really want to make sure that people understand. And the way that we do that is, before we take up anyone's money, we want an honest conversation of, do they understand how their business works? Do they understand what this is going to take? Do they get those at minimum first 3 functions of client acquisition? And that they have to think as a business owner and understand how a business functions. And they don't have to be perfect at it, but they have to be willing to learn it. And if that is not there, then we say no. We're like, hey, I understand you want to give us money to run ads for you, but it's not going to work with us. And then the other component is making sure, do we have the resources to guide someone to success? We don't just want to take a client and just launch ads. That's not what we do. We want to take a client and make sure that we can plug the holes in any of those functions that they need, right? Do they know what offers they need to market? Do they have a solid lead nurture system in place? Do they have the resources they need to execute it? Do they have a solid sales process in place? Do they truly know how to make this thing work when they get a lead in the door? And we want to make sure they have every single resource they need to do that, which is why I've spent months flying around the country going to our clients' location. Because yeah, I can take what worked for me in the gym, but I want to truly go on site for weeks at a time to people like Ultra Crow, who's hit the Inc. top 500 list on their fastest growing business this year, people that are doing multiple 7 figures, and study those processes, study the lead nurture systems, the sales systems, so that way we can document everything, put them into easy playbooks for a client to be able to give to their staff, put them in training videos for them to be able to watch, give access to all those resources. So then by the time we hit go on the ad campaign, everything can work together and we can create massive growth. That's what I think matters. And now it's tough. It's a much harder game to play, right? You have to go deeper with your clients. It takes more attention. They have to have account managers, right? It costs more for us to run the business, but I would rather go deep and see people have success than try and churn and burn and have, thousands of people paying us a smaller fee for just agency only service and saying, hey, we got you leads, we did our job, goodbye. To me, that is why I'm so passionate about this, is because I've lived it as a brick and mortar business owner. I'm living it now as the owner of a consulting and marketing agency. And I just think it matters because this industry is awesome, right? Like, we are doing great things. You are doing great things. You are selling services that not just make people look and feel better. You're selling services that completely change people's lives, that change their families' lives, that change your community around you. And that is a business model that I absolutely love. And that's why, from being a personal trainer to a decade in the gym space and now doing this, it's why I think this will always be the industry that I will call home. When we partner with people, it's just like, that matters so much. And it matters that we're not just here to have a number and say, we got you leads. You're not just here to say, I hired a marketing agency, I'm supposed to grow. It's a partnership where we're looking at how do we create massive impact that is, of course, also going to make massive growth in the business. And so, guys, I hope that this gave you a lot of value. I hope that you can now kind of walk away from this and understand those 2 questions of, do you even run paid ads? Is it the right time for you? And when you are ready to do it, how do you pick the right partner to do so? And so again, my name's Josh, the host of the Wellness Business Secrets podcast, and I'm so pumped that you have tuned in for this. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below, and let me know what are your next questions, right? What do you want further help with? And I will go deep for you on the next podcast. And until then, guys, see you on the next one.